This is Dan Dosky from Legal Graphic Works. I'm going to walk you through the difference between an ELMO and using Trial Director to present documents. Just wanted to orient you to what I have set up here so you sort of familiarize yourself with it. Would be like in a courtroom. This is our conference room in Florida. That's a 70-inch television, which I'll be zooming in on. And then here in the foreground, we have one of our ELMOs, and then just a laptop back there. And those are just hooked directly up to the TV, similar to the way it would be in court. Okay, so now what we're looking at is the ELMO up on our television screen. And obviously we've placed a document there. In this case, it is an invoice for a horse, a very expensive horse in this particular case. I don't know how easy that is for you to see, but you might guess from a jury's perspective it could be hard to read. Now, of course, we can zoom in on this document. So the first thing to do is, you're going to place the document, make sure it's in the right place. If you're going to zoom in on something, and this particular one has a digital zoom, you could zoom in like that, get a little closer, but you're still doing all this manually. So in this case, just for example, I want to look at this in greater detail. I can zoom in on this and say, okay, this is the bill of sale for this horse, Virtuoso de Talma, and it's $210,000. But now I've sort of lost a little bit of perspective from the document. So I also want to show that this is from Paul O'Shea, show jumping, and it was signed, the horse was signed for by Elizabeth Cuniff from Whipstick Farm. And there is her signature. So if I want to do any navigating around the document, certainly not the worst thing in the world, but that's sort of what that process is if you want to look at a document in any kind of detail for the jury. Then of course if you want to highlight something, you manually have to get out a pen and highlight it. Then you go through that zoom process, etc. So now I'm going to switch over to the computer so you can see what it looks like in Trial Director. Okay, so now I've got the Trial Director presentation screen pulled up. I'll sit down at the computer and I'm going to call up the document, which is just a couple of keystrokes. I've named it a name, like an exhibit number, so on, and there's my exhibit. Now, if I want to zoom in on any part of this document, all I have to do is, with this particular tool, click and drag, hold on that, and I get details. Okay? I can change the size of that if I want to, so I can make that bigger to show more detail and move it around if I need to move it around. I can do all this live. I can also pre-produce it. I can highlight it, bill of sale, paid $210,000 for the horse, and I can remove all those things, piece by piece, or just get rid of them entirely. Now, the other thing that we can do is to pre-produce these things. Oh, and I wanted to show you also like the signature, for example. Now, the smaller the area I highlight, the bigger it makes it on the screen, but you can see that's very easy to see probably from any distance. And you can also compare documents side by side on the same screen. So if you had a dispute about signatures, let's say, you could put them side by side, look at the two signatures side by side. So now I'm going to go to just some pre-produced things. So let's say you knew you wanted to highlight or go over with a witness or go over an opening or closing. So I start with the document itself. Ladies and gentlemen, here's exhibit number 1. I want to focus your attention to the bill of sale. They purchased this horse, Virtuoso de Talma, for $210,000, and it was signed for by Elizabeth Cuniff from Whipstick Farm. There's Ms. Cuniff's signature. So that's just a brief example of some of the things that you can do in Trial Director to work with documents.